Hi there, and welcome to Oakland Side 510. I'm Tasneem Raja, editor-in-chief of the Oakland Side, Oakland's independent, nonprofit newsroom. Later in this episode, I'll talk with our City Hall reporter, Eli Wolfe, about a mysterious billboard next to I-880 and its links to the 3-year saga of how one billboard company pushed itself into Oakland's city budget. And just a warning, if you're listening with young ones, I know that some of you do because you've told me, there is a 4-letter word in that conversation, courtesy of an Oakland City Council member. But first, we have got a full slate of headlines this week. Let's get into other recent reporting from the Oakland Side. First up, election news. We now know who is officially running in Oakland's November election. Compared to recent years, fewer candidates jumped into the mayor's race. Mayor Barbara Lee is seeking a full term after winning last year's special election, and she's facing East Oakland business owner and district attorney's race recall organizer Brenda Grisham, among others. The city council races are quieter too. District 4's Janani Ramachandran is running unopposed, but the most competitive contests this year might actually be for school board, where multiple OUSD seats have crowded, hard-fought races shaping up. We'll have more reporting on all of these races in the next few weeks at oaklandside.org and on this podcast. Next, in public safety news, federal and local law enforcement just wrapped up a 90-day operation aimed at reducing gun violence across Oakland and Alameda County. It was called Operation Disarm, and it led to 51 arrests and 76 seized firearms. Officials say the people charged include dozens with prior felony convictions, and more than half are believed to have gang ties. The U.S. attorney says a deadly shooting at an unpermitted East Oakland nightclub back in March helped convince his office that the operation was necessary. It comes as Oakland continues to see violent crime drop compared to last year. In Chinatown, a beloved but aging recreation center is finally getting rebuilt, and this time it'll do double duty. The new Lincoln Rec Center will be nearly triple the size of the current one, but the standout feature is what the city is calling a resilience hub. Solar panels, battery storage, and medication refrigeration that neighbors can use during wildfires, power shutoffs, or earthquakes. It's the city's first resilience hub that is actually run by Oakland itself, not by a nonprofit or a church. The project took decades of community advocacy, and it is expected to reopen in the summer of 2028. Now, some numbers news. Once again, it was largely police officers and firefighters who topped the list of Oakland's highest earners in 2025, thanks mostly to overtime. 99 police and fire employees took home more than $500,000 each. The single highest earner was a police sergeant whose overtime alone topped nearly $400,000. And this isn't his first time topping the list, as you may know from previous Oakland Side reporting. Meanwhile, most of Oakland's elected officials, including the mayor and city council, land solidly in the middle of the city's overall pay rankings. In restaurant news, Horn Barbecue has officially gone dark. Pitmaster Matt Horn's Old Oakland spot, his last remaining restaurant after years of expansion, has closed, following a wave of wage theft claims and lawsuits. Court records show that Horn has 20 open wage theft claims filed against him across his Oakland, Fresno, and Sacramento locations. This is a steep fall for a chef who once ran 3 restaurants at once and earned national recognition, including a Michelin Bib Gourmand for this very location just 2 months ago. Now, some good news for the city's artistic community. Underdog Film Lab, the West Oakland shop helping keep film photography alive, has settled into a new, much bigger space. It is nearly 8,000 square feet with multiple dark rooms and a full photo studio. Of course, film labs have been closing across the country for years, but Underdog's owners say business keeps growing, along with Oakland's analog film community. On a personal note, I am a recent convert to film photography myself, having purchased a new Kodak point-and-shoot camera from Glass Key Camera in San Francisco, a recommendation from the good folks at Underdog. I have been developing film at Underdog and learning a lot from the people who work there. If you are an analog film photography lover or practitioner in Oakland, drop me a line and say hi sometime. Tasneem@oaklandside.org. Now, in food news, afternoon tea is booming in the East Bay right now, and it is not just scones and clotted cream anymore. Our NOSH team found new spots offering Thai-inspired tea service, Filipino Kamayan-style tea parties, an all-vegan tea pop-up, and Malaysian and Indonesian flavors, alongside old standbys like a Victorian home tea service in downtown Oakland. Check out our full guide at oaklandside.org if you're looking for your next Pinkies Up outing. Finally, a very Oakland milestone. Hip-hop legend Too Short just turned 60, and he's not stopping anytime soon. His new album, called Sir Too Short Volume 2, Drink and Smoke, produced entirely by Lil Jon, dropped in late July, marking 20 years since his hit, Blow the Whistle. In a new interview, the Oakland rapper talks about aging in hip-hop, honoring Lil Jon's late son, who worked on the album before his death, and why he has no plans to stop until, in his words, the wheels fall off. That is it for headlines. We'll link to all of this reporting in the show notes. Before we get to our main story, here's a quick message from a local organization supporting this show. This episode is brought to you by BOSS, Building Opportunities for Self-Sufficiency. Oakland, the Black August commemoration is back. Join them on Saturday, August 29th for the 6th annual Black August Arc of Liberation commemoration at Oakland City Hall. It's a free event. The food, the ice cream, the live performances, turf dancers, wellness resources, family activity, and full-day community celebration rooted in art, culture, political education, and economic empowerment. All of it free for Oakland. Visit bit.ly/BossBlackAugust to RSVP and learn more. Now on to my conversation with Oaklandside City Hall reporter Eli Wolfe. Eli, you have spent a lot of time over the last few years reporting on billboards. Why?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I write a lot about billboards because they are a source of tremendous revenue for the city. And these contracts are worth a lot of money to the companies that control these billboards. There are not that many of these companies in Oakland. There's only a handful. It's a very competitive market. It's pretty cutthroat. And so when these deals come before the city council, which I cover, there are always fireworks, shouting matches, and crazy allegations. It's frankly fun to cover them. That's part of why I cover them. But it involves a lot of money that is flowing through the city. And part of my job is following that money.
Mm-hmm. And one through line that you have been focusing on really closely is what's going on with billboards that are run by a company named Becker Boards. One of your recent stories looked at one of those billboards in particular. Listeners, if you have driven on I-880 near downtown Oakland recently, you may have noticed this billboard. It's a black and white photo, a guy in a tank top flexing with a dramatic skyline behind him. And the text says, quote, "Son of Oakland, for the people, with the people." Eli, who is that?
That is Ken Houston. He is the District 7 council member, a colorful, attention-getting guy in all regards.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put his name on the billboard, but that picture is his Facebook cover photo, and Son of Oakland is his signature line. It's him. And here's the odd part. Ken is not up for re-election this year, so this isn't a campaign ad. It's just self-promotion.
And he paid for this ad out of his own pocket.
Yeah, that's what he told us. He said he reached out to the company a while back, made a couple payments earlier this year, and basically forgot about it until it went up.
What company?
Becker Boards. They own that sign and several other billboards around Oakland.
And Houston has some history with this company beyond buying ad space.
Right, and that's the part that matters. Houston has voted more than once on deals between the city and Becker Boards, including a vote earlier this summer that was pretty close.
So we've got a council member buying ad space from a company whose city contracts he's voting on.
Right. And when I asked him for more detail, how much he paid, how long the ads are up, that's basically when the conversation ended. He called me, swore at me, and hung up.
What did he say?
He told me to go fuck myself and lose his number.
Okay. So that one billboard is a strange little story on its own, but you have actually been tracking Becker Boards for 3 years now. And the Ken Houston billboard is really just the latest chapter in something much bigger. How this one company has built itself into Oakland's city budget.
And I think that's the more important story. Becker didn't get here by accident. This is a company that spent years building relationships inside City Hall, and those relationships kept paying off again and again in ways that are honestly pretty remarkable, including at one point the city building Becker's money into its budget before the deal authorizing that money had even been voted on.
Walk me through how we got there. So this all started back in 2023.
Yeah, 2023. Oakland has had a ban on new billboards since the 90s. Companies can basically only relocate or renovate existing signs here. So in 2023, Becker teamed up with another company, Outfront Foster Interstate, and got the city council to approve a deal. They'd tear down a bunch of old signs and put up a smaller number of digital ones. In exchange, the city and a group of nonprofits would get a cut of the ad revenue for decades.
But that deal did not go smoothly.
No. A rival company, Clear Channel, which has done business in the city for many years, said that the whole process was basically rigged in Becker's favor and that its own competing proposal, which it said would have paid the city significantly more, never even got a real hearing. Clear Channel accused Becker's team of making misleading claims about their proposal to the council. There was a formal complaint letter, accusations flying in both directions at council meetings.
So basically, Becker was trying to convince Oakland that Clear Channel wasn't good for Oakland.
Right. They were trying to convince the city council that Clear Channel had been making out like bandits at Oakland's expense for years and was trying to pull the wool over city staffers' eyes about how much money this competing proposal would actually bring to Oakland. Here's their lobbyist pointing a finger at a Clear Channel rep at a council meeting in 2023.
I mean, can you believe the audacity? Shame on you! But hey, we're not here to play gotcha or cast aspersions on staff. They're not expected to know billboard issues and are overwhelmed with the many issues that our city is facing. I feel for them. I work with them every day on so many different issues that our city cares about. But now you and everyone else in this room has seen the evidence with your own eyes and heard from the community. And the choice is clear. Please vote for what is right. Please vote for the community, and please support the Becker OFI agreements that are before you today. Thank you.
And it worked. The council was convinced. Clear Channel's stronghold on Oakland billboards got weaker. Becker got its foot in the door, and Becker didn't stop there. The company came back to Oakland for another deal in 2025, and this is where things get, in your words, remarkable.
Right. Oakland at that time was staring down a big budget deficit, and the city was scrambling for revenue. Becker pitched that second relocation agreement, more new digital billboards in exchange for tearing down some old-fashioned ones, and in exchange, a multi-million-dollar payout to the city over the next few decades. What happened is the council folded the anticipated Becker revenue into the 2-year city budget before the deal itself had actually been formally approved. So by the time the full council actually voted to approve another deal with Becker, it was essentially a foregone conclusion because the city was already relying on that money. Otherwise, there would have been a hole in the budget that they just approved.
So, Eli, what I have come to understand from your reporting is that is a pretty unusual way to do government business.
It is. An attorney with a rival company Outfront argued that the whole revenue promise was overstated. Now, this gets a little wonky with a lot of numbers and percentages, but basically, Outfront was claiming that Becker's deal wasn't what it seemed. Here's Chris Powell, Outfront's attorney, speaking at a June 2025 meeting.
The revenue promise the city's considering this for is actually a mirage. It's not true that additional revenue would go to the city or its affiliates because of dilution. The city already has 4 franchise agreements with Outfront that produce $9.35 million over the course of 3 years for city and its affiliates. You've been told that, well, all that's guaranteed if you put up more signs because there's a minimum annual guarantee on those signs. However, that's not true. 1.8 million of that revenue over 3 years is actually above the minimum, and that's all put at stake if you add more signs to the system and dilute that revenue. So in fact, you're not producing more revenue for the city, you're just spreading it across more signs.
But nonetheless, again, Oakland voted in Becker's favor.
It wasn't unanimous. 2 council members voted no. Carol Fife, because she felt the city was relying on money from a deal that hadn't actually closed. And more surprising, Council President Kevin Jenkins, even though he'd supported Becker's first deal back in 2023.
And President Jenkins.
Billboards does really good work in our community, but I'm not ready to support this. We need a different process. No.
The motion passes with a vote of 6 ayes, 2 no, Fife and Jenkins.
You have spent a lot of time, Eli, looking into why this company has had this kind of unusual momentum inside City Hall. What have you found?
A lot of relationship building that happened privately. Becker's point person, a guy named Nima Link, met with Kevin Jenkins when he was the interim mayor for Oakland in closed-door meetings a couple times last year. At times, other major players in Oakland's real estate and development scene were also present at those meetings. Link's company also built up a ton of community support in Oakland by sponsoring community events, cleanups, galas for local nonprofits and health clinics, things like that. Some of those relationships have helped Becker become a big player in Oakland's lucrative billboard scene. And local business groups still show up to vouch for that company. For example, here's Stephanie Tran, president of the Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, at the meeting where Becker ultimately got what it wanted.
The Oakland Chinatown Chamber is part of a coalition that supported the creation of the Billboard program because it represented an innovative partnership between public, private, and nonprofit sectors. It's demonstrated that we can create solutions that benefit community organizations, small businesses, and the city of Oakland at the same time. And over the years, Becker Boards has become more than just a billboard program. It has become a valuable asset and community resource that helps promote local businesses, public awareness campaigns, and neighborhood initiatives. And for many organizations and small businesses, this type of visibility would otherwise be financially out of reach.
My reporting makes it clear that Becker has built up a lot of community goodwill in Oakland. But I think what's not being talked about enough is that you've got a company that's taking up a lot of space in Oakland's skyline and has inserted itself into Oakland's budget in some big ways. And it's done that in part by building these close, informal relationships with the very officials who vote on their pricey, lucrative contracts in ways that are notably different from how business like this usually happens in the city.
Eli, I know you'll keep reporting on Oakland billboards and big government contracts more broadly. Thank you for walking us through all of this.
Thanks, Tasneem.
That's this week's episode of Oakland Side 510. You can find all the stories we talked about today and all of our recent reporting at oaklandside.org. Sign up for our daily newsletter to get our reporting delivered to your inbox. If you haven't already, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. About 80 of you have so far, and I've read every single one. I love reading them. This episode was produced by Mark Nieto. On behalf of our entire newsroom, thank you for showing up for Oakland. We'll see you next week.